And we are live again, Canada Day. And our fireside, chitty chat, relaxing time. It's been a good day. We've got snacks and wine. So we figured, what was that? Shaky. Figured if you guys want to join and hang out with us, then we're going to talk about some stuff. I don't know what Jen's doing. She just ran inside. Guess I should make sure that everything's working because she's not here to check for me. And I can only see the camera from here. You got Zeus? Yeah. Hey Zeus, what's up, buddy? Checking out whether or not our audio, it is working. Yay. No. Hola, David. ¿Cómo está? A little bit of Spanish. My Japanese is better.
Oh, geez. Crops are rocking it right now.
Certainly are. Zeus, you don't get any cinnamon bun. No. This is my treat for working so hard. It's settle in for the evening time.
Hi.
Just finished an interesting training session with Gracie. Ended off checking her feet, but the obstacle training went really well, I think. She came along. She got through each obstacle relatively well. It doesn't mean we have to get through things 100% or perfect. And that's sort of what horse training looks like. You kind of get some stuff done and you end on something that's not too bad or on something that's really good. A step above of wherever you had it. Provide some good reassurance, some good feelings to it all. You'll always make progress, even if it's slow. And slow progress is better than no progress. And slow can be faster because if you rush it, you can wreck something.
I was going to say it sticks, but I get it.
Slower and more consistent will stick better as well. It's true.
Yeah.
So that's for her feet. I know partially what's going on, but there might be something else, so I'll be checking that out tomorrow. But I'll talk about it in a little bit more because it's kind of a common problem, but especially with feet that haven't been trimmed in a long time, they'll commonly have this particular problem. Anybody actually here other than David?
Yeah.
Oh yeah?
Riley's here. Sue's here.
Oh yeah.
Maria's here.
Good. It's Canada Day, so we're, even though we've been working all day, finally take a break. There'll probably be some fireworks going off here and there.
You think out here?
Oh yeah, there already were.
Oh.
That's what those noises
Well, I thought
were.
it was like a firecracker. Like someone's doing in their backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Downtown, they'll do the big psh, psh.
Yeah, downtown there'll be
Canada
some.
Place, right? Isn't that what they do?
I don't know. Ask David.
Might know.
David, are there any
Fireworks?
fireworks down there? I don't know if you guys can hear Jen. You should tell us if you can hear Jen when she talks. I pointed the microphone her way, so I'm kind of hoping it'll pick her up. Somebody complained last time that, not complained, but suggested we should figure out a way to get Jen's voice in better. But it's hard because you guys don't want to hear the goats and nobody wants to hear the traffic. And some people said that the fire was too loud.
Riley says she can hear me.
Cool. Well, good.
That looked good.
Cinnamon buns are awesome. I love
Fluffy
cinnamon
one,
buns.
actually.
It's not bad at all.
Sometimes they're not so good. There are fireworks planned. Helicopters have started hovering above downtown. Oh.
Oh, yeah. People go up in helicopters to watch the fireworks from above.
Really? Oh, I want to do that. No, I don't really. I don't care. I would like to do the water. Other than then you're trapped in the water trying to get off your boat. But I've heard it's amazing to be.
Oh, it is.
Have you done that?
Yeah.
Oh.
I used to have a sailboat. And for a couple of years or so, in Vancouver, there's a big bay that leads into the main city area. That's called English Bay. And all the tankers come in there and they anchor down there. So it's a big, huge area. And off of that, they usually do the fireworks. It's a big place to come, and you can fit a lot of boats in there. So I had a small sailboat, 25-foot sailboat, a while ago. And I'd motor into that spot, and you'd sort of have to... You couldn't anchor. It was too deep to anchor unless you're a big tanker that had hundreds and hundreds of feet of chain.
Let's hoping for a piece of that last
So if you're not having any,
What
well...
about the bottom part of the last bite? Oh, come on. That looks like a Zeus part.
All right, there you go.
Yay!
What do you think, buddy? Is it any good? I didn't know you like cinnamon bun too.
I like everything.
So, we'd motor in to the English Bay, and you'd sort of have to try to stay in one spot, but you'd always be sort of idling a bit and watch the fireworks from the water. Because if you tried to watch it from the land, well, there's just so many people there. It's hard to get in, hard to get back out. But at the same time, on a boat, when you have to get back into where everybody moors their boats, you have to go through this area called the First Narrows. And over top of that is the Lionsgate Bridge. And the Lionsgate Bridge goes from Stanley Park to North Vancouver. And Stanley Park's a really impressive, amazing park that we have here. And it's full of all kinds of things, but beside there and across from there and then just down from there and then just down from there further is where all the boats are. So you all have to shove through this probably 400 foot, maybe 500 foot gap. And you're hoping that you've got a good tide because you can't really do it in a sailboat otherwise. The tide's too strong coming out. It's hard to get in and vice versa. So you'd have to plan that out pretty good. But it was nice, but it wasn't worth it.
No.
In the end, you kind of go, it's cool. Combined with do it.
Once.
Yeah, I did it. I did it a couple times. But the problem is I've been to Japan, and the fireworks here look like a set of backyard fireworks compared to what they put on in Japan. So for me, when I went, I was like, oh yeah, it's really neat. Where's the rest? And that was the end of it. The finale was, yeah, it's pretty good, but it seemed like it just doesn't match what they do in Japan. And I was like, it's neat, but I don't feel like going through the rush hour of boats either. And then by the time you got back, all the rush hour traffic was actually mostly gone, but it would still be there. So sometimes you just have a little snack on the boat till that went away. So it ended up being a pretty late night because they don't start them until it's dark anyways. Didn't do the Canada Day ones. We did the
In the summer.
we have a summertime competition between 3 countries.
Yep.
Yeah, 3 countries, and each country gets their night, and then there's a finale night where each country tries again, and then I don't know how do they win? Who votes?
No, judges actually.
Some judges.
Yeah.
Some judges vote. So, Zeus, watch the table, man. Stop bumping the table.
There's no more cinnamon bun.
No more cinnamon bun. It's all gone. You can lick a plate. Says, well, where is it?
Oh, you're such a cute dog. Yes.
Well, the flies slowed down not long after, but we are also not near the horses, so everything's very quiet. The goats are quiet. The birds are a little noisy. No, don't go in. There they go. See? Calm down. Calm down.
Someone asked earlier, I think somebody else was asking about, do the horses freak out over fireworks?
Horses do freak out over fireworks. Ours don't tend to because we don't have very many close fireworks. But it is a big concern in the horse community here locally. We all try to, post some stuff on Facebook or whatever, social media. You just try to raise awareness, but people who want to celebrate, they either don't care or maybe they have their own animals. Like, look, just train your animals to put up with, and so there isn't always that opportunity to train your animals to put up with loud sounds. I've seen a lot of stuff come up about July 4th for your Independence Day in the States, because North Americans, I think, tend to have more fireworks than I think I've seen talked about in other countries. Not to say they don't happen, I just have no awareness of it. But here in North America, it's very easy to buy fireworks at Halloween, Canada Day, Independence Day, the two big days here in North America. Halloween, obviously, and then New Year's. So it's no problem going out and buying. You can buy a lot of fireworks, and they're pretty noisy and scary, obviously, to the dogs and cats and other animals, probably birds and raccoons and all kinds of animals that are out there. And our domesticated horses, living in their pens, have nowhere to escape to, nowhere to go, and a lot of times they're alone. They're not with another horse. Hard to find comfort. They may not be able to see another horse, so that might not provide any comfort. So you can kind of stack the deck in your favor by providing a herd environment, providing a safe environment for them to be in. But there's no guarantee. It's noisy, and it can be startling. It can be startling for people.
That's what I mean. It's often so sudden, too.
It's very sudden, yeah. What's that?
Of course it's shocking.
So anyways, Jenny's chugging back the wine. Just kidding.
Nice and pouring.
We have all kinds of things planned for the summer. I've been thinking, I can't remember when we have vacation time booked. And I guess I'll just have to talk to you about it later rather than do it online. But I'm still trying to think about how to get over to Sean.
Yeah.
And I got an offer to help out around here near the end of July, beginning of August timeline. For from some friendly people.
That would be our first edition.
Is it?
Second one is mid-August.
See, I got to figure out how to get to Colorado at some point, just for a few days even. If I can leave in the morning and then spend that day, a full next day, and then come back home the next morning, I think, or early afternoon. That'd be good. Yeah. At least 2 good days there. That's what I want to, in case anybody is wondering what I'm talking about. I've talked about it a few times, but there's a guy down in Colorado named Sean Davies. Some of you have heard of him. And he does a lot of stuff with Mustangs. And I've been chit-chatting here and there with him. I found him a while back and got a hold of him. And I'm hoping to be able to make it down there to go, because he's offered to let me check things out and maybe work with a couple of, oh, there goes Zeus. It's chasing something, on the ground.
Oh yeah, or the big rat.
We had a rat. We also had I saw a bunny rabbit over that way. Hoppy Skippy all off to wherever he went. So we have rabbits as well. Go figure.
Oh, want that. There's lots at Thomas Haney, one of the high schools nearby. Has lots of rabbits all over
Lots
the
of-
fields.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. As soon as you go out to play, the kids are playing cross. There's just bunnies everywhere. You can't
Bunnies
catch
everywhere?
them though; they're too fast. All the kids are trying to grab them, but they just because lots of bush all the way around. But it's a thing in Richmond as well, right?
Lots
All
of
over.
bunnies.
Yeah.
We'll get rid of their bunny rabbits, and there you go. They
I
breed like
guess,
cats.
Breed like bunnies.
Yeah.
Is actually the saying, not breed like a cat.
Well, cats breed a lot too.
Yeah, but the saying is based on bunnies.
Breed like rats, cockroaches. Rabbits?
Cockroaches don't ever die.
Cockroaches don't die. Anyway, so I want to make it down to Colorado because he's got a pile of Mustangs that he brings in and works with, and they go on to live lives with people that are wanting a Mustang. And Sean has done a lot of work. He did a bunch of videos. He's not doing any videos right now. I asked him if he would do more, and I think he's probably just got to find the time for it. Yeah, for me, I want to get down there. I would take all of my camera gear and just try to get as much material as I could, not only for my own observational purposes and learning purposes, because working with Mustangs is so much different than working with the domesticated ones just feel like pets. You're just working with a jittery pet sometimes, not all the time. But the Mustangs are truly wild, and you're dealing with an animal that has no idea what you're about. Not only has no idea what you're about, but has usually had a very bad experience. Any of the fresh ones, usually they've just been caught, herded into somewhere, chucked into a trailer, and you get them home and they're scared stiff because they have no idea where they are. If you're lucky, you've got some other domesticated ones around, but they won't be speaking the same language for a little while. And then the ones that have been 1 strike, 2 strike, 3 strike Mustangs, they've already gone through their times of not being good enough or not making it or being too much trouble, and they got sent back to the BLM, and then somebody else tries, and the 3 strike ones are free, or I think they give you money. They give you $1,000 if you come take a 3 strike one. Or is it just a normal? I don't know. They've got some deal. I can't remember. Somebody look it up. Let us know in the comments so I can get it right. Anyways, it's a big deal. And working with Mustangs or working with wild horses, for me, actually, I'll just say how I felt. When I worked with this Mustang that was here, I felt like all of my skills that I'd had so far were inferior to what she needed. And so it pushed me much further along in the process of observation, understanding what works and doesn't work, because domesticated horses will put up with piles of things that a Mustang...
Excuse me.
Oh, you set off a firework when you sneezed.
No.
Piles of things that a Mustang would never put up with. Something as simple as petting them to rub one way or another way or a different angle or something along those lines. A Mustang would just shy away, and you have to be very sensitive to that. Not that you can't acclimate them to those things, but boy, it sure is. If a wild horse doesn't like something so subtle as just petting at the wrong angle, a domesticated one will probably prefer to be pet at a particular angle, but you wouldn't really know it because they're just dull to being rubbed and touched and whatever all over. So there's good and bad to that. But what I'm saying is that I learned a bunch of stuff that I never probably would have learned from any domesticated horses, which I found very valuable, and I want more.
I want more.
I want lots more. So, anyways. Anybody, I haven't been looking at any part of the chat whatsoever.
You gotta bless you in Gesundheit.
Carla says it's an addiction. Is she talking about the Mustangs? What's she talking about that's an addiction?
I don't know, maybe you? Or the Mustang. Yeah, because she can't sleep.
Ida says the Mustang was fasting. It is. Ida is. It is really, really fascinating. And I've looked through a couple of I was reminded of my Mustang playlist a while back. I had a couple of comments come through, but one was from Martine. You guys have seen her in the comments. She's from France. And she had gone through the whole playlist, watched the whole thing, sent me this long email in conjunction with that Mustang book that I reviewed. It's amazing. It's really well thought out. If you see this, thank you very much for the email. And it woke me up again, or not woke me up, but woke up that desire inside of me again to go and search that out a little bit better. So I'm actually doing a lot more even around here with the horses that we have, which is one of the reasons actually why today I was taking a bunch of slow motion video, because I want to be able to see how horses treat other horses and how physiologically they respond to certain behaviors, touch, ears, eyes, mouth, teeth. Even the video that I did about discipline, where Luke had kicked Roni. We've talked about that in a great extent just here, about did Roni do the right thing? Would we want to be like that, or is that not what we want to be? If we were in a position that he was put in, is that what we should do? Should we go chase a horse around after dealing out damage? And it's a big conversation. I don't even know if I'd be able to fit it into a live stream. Anyways,
Interesting though.
it's an interesting conversation. I mean,
What do people think the difference is between discipline and punishment? Is it the same? Is it different?
did somebody lose a horse? Riley?
Riley.
Riley lose the horse? Lost a horse?
Yeah.
A black Mustang?
Yeah.
Aw. That sucks, losing a horse. Sorry, wow. Sorry to hear that. That's hard. Especially if you're well attached, have a good relationship and all that kind of stuff.
She's only 14.
The Chinese go for insane fireworks shows. Yeah, it's true. Horses live for such a long time. If you have them when they're young to when they're old.
She's young. Riley's young.
Riley's young? Riley's a teenager?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard loss.
Dealing with some death. I wouldn't say dealing with death gets any easier when you're older. So go through the process, you know. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to wish for things to be a little different, but at the same time, make an effort to kind of move forward a bit and see what you can build on from that. You know, you're only going to grow from here. You're only going to get stronger. So.
Carla says she was talking about Mustangs. It's her dictionary.
Mustang
The Mustang
work is, I think I'm finding, Lena's right scratching on a post here, but you know, it's funny. I walked in the house today and we were gonna have lunch. I was like, oh man, all I have is horse stuff over here and some horse things over here and some horse video I've got to do and some horse thoughts and some training of horses. It's like horses everywhere. So I think in a way they themselves are an addiction, but the drive to really hone the skills. Like for example, I would imagine if Sean were to work with a domestic, I can't wait to talk to him. Hopefully I can sit down and have a good long chat. But I would be interested to hear about how he feels about dealing with just normal horses. You know, ones that aren't wild. Whether they're just, maybe, are they boring to him? Does he find it not interesting? Does he find it not really much of a challenge? Does he find that he's way better with them? Or does he find that he's kind of like, oh, this doesn't interest me and I want to go back to, you know, so I'm really curious. Well, anyways, horses can be close friends, it's true. I feel that way all the time, especially with probably Lena and Luke the most, for me. As a best friend. like a good friend horse. Roni actually,
I struggle with him.
um,
I'm the most sensitive when it comes to him. Because he's always hurt, too. He's our one that gets hurt. I emotionally didn't handle the last time. When he was laying down every day, remember? Every hour we had to go check on him, and that was really hard for me.
um,
So
Roni's a very sensitive horse. I'm going to be doing a video with him shortly, hopefully this week. I've got so many ideas in my head. I can't even count them all. It's ridiculous. It's just insane. I just want to do them all at once. But one of the things that he's very good at is checking in.
Yeah.
And I refer to it as reaching a lot of times. And I'll talk to people. I was talking to a lady recently about she had a horse that somebody else was working with, and it wasn't going so well. It didn't feel good the way it was going on. And I said, well, your horse checks in quite often. Did you ever find that person checked in back or reached back for when your horse was reaching? She says, no, I never really saw that. I saw more just trying to get something done. And I think it's an integral part to, and you'll find, if you go looking around, there's a few channels out there. I wish I could remember the name.
Whoa.
Get it, Zeus.
Trying to get the rat.
Where is it? Get it, Zeus. Get it.
This is it went under the deck. I'm so confused.
No, it's in a solarium or something. Did it go under the deck?
Yeah. See?
We got a mouse or rat or something like that cruising around.
This big. It is not a mouse. There's nothing
It's
mousy
that big,
about
yeah?
it. That's what I said. I mean, you can see it going through the grass. It's that
Oh,
big.
man. It's a small cat.
Oh.
Zeus, get it. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So there's a couple channels out there, but almost all good Mustang channels, in my opinion, good Mustang channels, are the ones where they get them and you'll see them working with these Mustangs and they'll do a check-in or they'll do a reach. And you can apply it to the domesticated ones as well, it's obviously, but the Mustangs really, really need it. And it's brief. It is a light touch and a leave. And that reach or that check-in, as they're domesticated or a little bit more comfortable, might last a little longer. But it's a reassurance to be connected, I think, I believe, I see. And a bit of respect as well. There's a respectful sense about it. And Macaroni does that perfectly. He's so obvious about it that it's going to be really quite easy to show. And I think it has a very big, significant meaning. Horses that don't check in or don't reach, you'd want to get them to where they do, because you'll watch them, they'll do it with other horses quite often. And so I think it's really powerful. It's something to talk about. And so,
Yeah. You should do a video on that.
that motorcycle was really loud.
Because every time you do a circle, especially in Liberty work, and particularly it's more noticeable when everybody else is in the arena, because he is always the first to try and square up and look and take one step.
Macaroni squares up really well,
Yeah.
which is also another version of checking in.
Yeah. Do we stop now? What about now?
Yeah. Carla's got a great question. Zeus has got Tola one mouse, yeah.
We've got a picture of the one mouse.
Yeah, Zeus caught one mouse. Did a good job of it. Would it be safe or a good idea to walk through the pool tool obstacle with the horse? Carla, great question. If I'm going to assume you watched that part, you'll see how she jetted through. She went through very quickly. I have yet to have an experience where I have walked through something that a horse has been very worried about and have them keep the same pace as me. In fact, I've seen many people get pushed and run over in these situations, and I have too. I just don't anymore, because I have a couple times and I learned my lesson and I just don't do it anymore. there is a case for being able to lead a horse better than drive a horse, but you'll be more effective if you can drive them lead or draw. Because as you saw, maybe have seen or can see if you watch it, when I'm trying to get Gracie through, she came through very quickly, and there's a couple of times I think the main reason I was able to get out of the way is because she was trying to avoid me. But horses are very fast. Humans generally do not have enough reaction or a fast enough reaction time to get out of the way of most horse movements. Whether it's them trying to hit you with their head, strike, kick, charge, pull back. Sometimes they can be just incredibly fast. Let's have another conversation today about the sections of the brain that the horse has compared to a human, and how much of it is dedicated to reacting and moving to whether or not they can think things through or be calm, sort of deal. And while humans have a lot of that logical sort of part to them where we think things through more and move less, horses do not. They have much more of the act first, think later sort of approach. And that's really super dangerous because while we're still thinking it through, they've already got the escape route and are moving with a very short amount of time to spare. So I can fully recognize that I am not fast enough to stop a horse, and the better thing to do is to be fully prepared for when that inevitable situation happens. In other words, for this, whether I'm going through a gate, whether I'm going between a barrel and a fence, whether I'm going between a barrel and pool noodles, whether I'm going between pool noodles and pool noodles, I'm going to do my very best to not be in the way and not be in a position where the horse is going to go flying past me, if I can help it.
What about if you were to lead the horse sort of behind you? You just think it would panic, that's why?
Most horses, if you have a constricted space like I had, if even I could do my best to make myself on one side of her, but she's still probably going to bump me with her shoulder on the way by.
What about if you built it, would it be safer if you'd built it, say, twice?
There go the fireworks.
Thinks you can get a firework apparently as well. If you built it twice as wide, or do you still think it's just too dangerous?
I think it's too dangerous to lead a horse through things. The other live video that I did with Gracie, using barrels to protect yourself for getting horses through things, was a great example about how I almost got run over. And again, the only reason I didn't is because she knows not to run me over. Or whatever. She just thinks it's not a good idea. She needs to be able to get by. But she would run me over before she's going to run over an inanimate object, like a barrel, figuring that I'll get out of the way. And that's normal. Many times horses move and they're probably wondering, why didn't you get out of the way? I was already moving. Why didn't you move? Because other horses can react fast enough and can recognize when another horse is moving and how to get out of the way. That's how fast they are. They're lightning.
So
Yeah.
another horse will react just
Yeah,
as fast as well.
a horse would not consider that you wouldn't get out of the way. They would just think you were
Which is
crazy.
why you've always said, like when they react and go, they're like, what are you doing way back there? That was weird.
Yeah, if they've reacted and I'm still standing in the same spot, I would imagine that the horse would be thinking, the hell are you doing way back there, man? You realize how scary it was over there? We should get going. And I'm saying, what are you doing over there? Don't sweat it. I'll lead the way. So, horse psychology. So no, I don't think it's safer to lead a horse through anything. Anymore.
Which is why you wanted to drive, not draw.
I'm always trying to drive. And you can see that drawing doesn't work anyways because you can't pull a horse through anything. So you have to drive them. Which is why I gave up. Okay, we gotta put him inside or something. He can't be out here with fireworks. It's just gonna,
Hey,
it's gonna
come.
drive him mad.
Let's go.
Inside, buddy. Go on. You can't handle it. You're not strong enough yet. It bothers poor Zeus to hear fireworks. Nothing we can do. It's Canada Day. Other dogs, you can hear them out there barking away. You guys can't because I got just a little microphone on. Yeah, safety is number one. I feel like I'm constantly talking about safety. There's no two ways about it. I just have to. Such a nice night. Just want to sit back and relax. Enjoy the fire, a little bit of wine. Talk about horses. So we could talk a little bit about Gracie's feet, if anybody's interested. I am. Gracie came with some pretty bad feet, fronts and backs. Long-term compressed material does not make for a healthy foot. And because she's young, I have high hopes that she will recover fully from the lack of foot care she had. But I'm still working at it, as shown today with her frogs being as solid as they were. Sometimes a solid frog is good, but not when there's a possibility there's stuff stuck in there, which I believe there is. She also has issues with her bars, which is not unusual for a horse that hasn't been maintained. They'll have laid over bars that end up laying over other stuff, and then you'll try to clean that out, and then you end up making a bit of a space in there, and then something gets in and then it lays over again, and you just have to stay super on top of it, and it's very difficult. Fireworks are going off, eh? Are the horses freaking out? No.
Not right now.
They're
Not yet.
not eating. They're standing and looking.
Zeus is barking from inside.
Zeus is barking. I don't know if you guys can hear the fireworks. Probably not, eh? Yeah, it's a lot of fireworks going off. Where's Zeus? Help me now. But none of the horses here are too worried. They sort of stop eating and look up, and then go back to eating.
There's nothing above us or anything, luckily.
No, if one of our neighbors was putting off big sparkling, banging fireworks, we'd probably
Concerned.
be a little more worried.
It's far enough away.
But they're far enough away, yeah, it's not a big deal. So yeah, so Gracie's feet, while they're coming along, still require more time, more effort, more time. So it's hard. I mean, I've worked on plenty of feet for this one horse that I've been working on for a couple of years, and she's finally at a place where I've told them, you know, the only thing you're dealing with now is a little bit of sort of soft material, due to just the environment being kind of soggy and soft, and other than that, all thrush has been cleared up, bars got cleared up, walls are cleared up, other than the final little bit at the end because of the soft environment. And it's amazing, you know. You see just a complete transformation. Lena's another great example. She had terrible feet when she came here.
Yeah, you're right.
And now they're solid, rock solid feet, but it's been a couple of years. And even now, I still think that she's still got a little bit more to go. And there's probably times when I've been a bit conservative, like, I won't go too far, but you know, that comes from not necessarily trial and error, but more of hindsight, where you look back and you think, well, I guess I could have done a little bit more. But overall, great, solid feet. She goes almost anywhere. Really good. Oh, yeah. But feet are a hard one. Feels like everybody's dealing with something. Even here, and it's not. Gracie's got something going on. Macaroni's got a little bit left going on his. Luke's pretty good. He flares easy, so I have to keep on top of him as best as I can. If I lose it a little bit, I go backwards a little bit, but he's quite sound. He doesn't. I've never seen Luke limp or anything in a long time. Yeah, he's doing really well. So it's good progress. Such a nice fire. It was a good fire.
Yeah, thanks. I built fire.
Probably turn off the pool pump next time one of us is up, I guess.
Yeah. No question, so I was thinking we should try and debate the discipline.
Discipline versus punishment thing? Fireworks are still going. Carla says the feet look a lot better than when we got her. Yes, Carla, they do look a lot better than when we got her. But it's still a little bit ways to go. Hello, Lisa. See, Lisa's made it in. Say hello to Ida, Sue, Carla, Lisa, David. Already said hello to Riley. It's a nice quiet night. Not too many people tonight. No surprise.
Yeah.
Monday night. It's kind of late here. People are going to work the next day. Yeah, those fireworks are really cool. It'd be kind of neat to be able to see them. But oh well. They're backyard fireworks.
Yeah,
probably just little things.
In their backyard.
Yeah, somebody in their backyard. I don't know. It could be Wannick doing something.
Sounds too close.
Too close? Yeah. Discipline and punishment. Ah, man, I've got so many thoughts around it. I mean, definitively, I don't believe that there's any room for punishment, the concept of punishment in horse training. That's an easy one. I guess we could put that out of the way then. So it's what is discipline?
Yeah.
And where does it fall into going from discipline to punishment? You know, how do you not go? How does it not taken too far? So in to put it into a little bit of context in what we've shown so far with the Roni and Luke thing, by getting kicked, there, I would imagine that for Roni, he would have, something in his brain would have said, you can't kick me because I'm higher than you, and I'm now going to remind you that I'm higher than you. So as I recall in the video, he chased Luke to go to the left, cut him off, chased him to go to the right, cut him off again, and sent Luke off left. Followed him around, and then drew him with him up the arena. So I believe that is very good discipline. And it would have been punishment if he chased him down further and tried to kick him back. But he didn't. He just moved him around a lot. And then drew him at the end. He knew he needed to be able to have Luke draw to him. So he left Luke, seeing if Luke would draw with him, which he did. Luke did. So it was ideal. It was an ideal ending to that portion of discipline. My original argument about discipline was flawed because I had sort of been viewing discipline as punishment. And instead, discipline is simply, in the grand context of it, is simply making sure that rules are followed. But you don't need to hammer them home as punishment might do. I think that's how it works.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And as we said, it's that weird subjective thing of what's the motivation behind it, right? Is it out of anger or is it out of teaching? There's a big difference.
Yeah, there's the idea. Did Roni get angry?
Was he mad?
Was he mad? I'm going to get you back. I'm going to get some revenge.
Did he just think, I have to put you back in your place, and when I get you to move your feet, it's fine.
Yeah, is it methodical?
There's a thought process. He moved his feet, Luke followed and did what he did, and they walked down the arena together, had a little sniff, and were totally fine.
Yeah. I recall this clip from DVD set done by Buck Brenneman called 7 Clinics. And he, in the movie that the 7 Clinics DVD set came from, which was a biography about Buck Brenneman and his brother a little bit as well, or his family, but mostly Buck Brenneman. And there's a part in there, I'm not sure if they put it in the actual movie, if it was just in the 7 Clinics DVD set, which I highly recommend, by the way. But one of the parts is where he has to be pretty hard with this one gelding. And, I mean, really on top of him. I mean, a whole load of discipline is the best way to put it. And it's a very, I'm not going to say it's difficult to watch, because if you watch it, you think, yeah, you probably needed to do that. But he explains it later. He does this little outro, I guess you could call it, of that situation. He says, you know, some people will come into my clinic and they'll see me being pretty firm with a horse, and they'll think, oh man, that guy's really rough. He says, but the thing is that there's no emotion there. There's no anger. There's no portion of that says he's got to get the horse. It is just smooth, calm, calculated, and methodical actions to lead to what he's asking for, which is simply, what's the word I'm looking for? Just, this is what you need to do. You know, just take orders and be good about it. Be calm about it. Communicate clearly and have that respected. Yep. And to apply that discipline doesn't require to be angry. It doesn't require to be overly emotional of any sorts. No. And so he says, you know, a lot of people won't see that. It is literally just calm, calculated, methodical work. And as he puts it, he's seen thousands like him, and we'll see many more. And he knows where the end goal is. He knows exactly where he needs to get to. And that doesn't involve punishment. And another thing he says is that punishment is always late. If you have to punish a horse, you are really late. So if Matt Groening had gone about trying to kick Luke, if Luke didn't listen, then he would have a right to kick him. If Luke does listen, which he did, but Roney still chased him down and kicked him, made an effort to kick him, that would be punishment. Yeah. But it's already way too late. Yeah. It's payback. It's just payback, because Luke already was able to kick him. Yeah. So then the concept is, well, he's already late to give discipline because he got kicked. Mm-hmm. But then we sort of thought about it and said, well, yeah, he was late. He realized he was late and he needed to reestablish the guidelines. But he just went about it methodically and quickly.
Move your feet. Luke said, okay.
And Luke did a good job of it. He's a good boy in the end.
And then they came together very quickly. Nose to nose, very quickly.
Yeah, they came back together really nicely.
And that's what shows that there wasn't vengeance or punishment or anything, because Luke didn't feel anything like that.
No, Luke was calm after too.
Yeah, came back to Roney. Oops.
Yeah, he was really good.
There is a question for you.
It's great.
What should you do about a gelding that gets too pushy and rough with other geldings?
A gelding that gets too pushy and rough with other geldings. In what kind of situation? Are there mares? I mean, what's the environment?
Mm-hmm. It's Lisa, so I don't know. Lisa, what are the situations? Can you describe the parameters of what you're describing?
Lisa's got the question? Oh, I see, yeah. So what a gelding gets too pushy and rough with other geldings. Lisa, yeah, it's important to know the situation. Are there other mares around? Is there a lack of food? Usually those types of problems have one of those two things: not enough food, or mares that gelding would like the other geldings to stay away from. So, yep. And what should you do about it? Provide more food, take the mares away. Let's see. Okay, so Springer's a little bit new here. And in the beginning, if I put him with the girls, and I tried to take the girls out, actually I did a video where that horse that was here for a month, Ohana, big, huge draft thoroughbred or whatever she was. And I tried to go get Lena, but she didn't want me to take Lena out. Was it Lena? I think it was Lena. And it was on video. I tried to get in the way. And she managed to cut me off or get in the middle or something like that. And I lost. I was late. I was too slow. I had a camera in my hands. I wasn't concentrating enough on the position that I needed to be in. And she managed to fend me off from Lena. And that could be viewed as pushy. But the way I view it a little bit more is that she's got a really, what she considers probably is a good friend. And she'd like not to lose that good friend. So she's going to let me know that I need to go away. You know, don't take my friend. She's my friend. You don't get to have my friend. That's my friend. So take off. And you know, it's unacceptable to tell me what to do because it's dangerous and I'm only a human. The point there is if it's dangerous to the human, then you have to be able to reestablish that, look, I'm going to come in and take any horse I want. I might take you, I might leave you, but you should not get in my way. This is not for you to invade my space on. And that's that. So pushing around other horses, that's super hard to correct. But pushing around humans, that is a must correct situation.
Now, that's an interesting thing because you were dealing with that today with Luke pushing around Lena because she wasn't allowed to talk to Gracie. Everyone was fighting over Lena, right? Everyone to be Lena.
Oh, man, yeah.
So
Everybody.
you said, what happens if I put myself in there? So it's kind of interesting.
I did do it today. It's true, yeah.
Yeah.
God, it's amazing how many things I do. I don't even think about it anymore.
Yeah.
Today, I didn't have the camera out. Sorry, I should have. There was 4 horses in the arena. It was a lot of fun. See, I don't have the camera for most things that happen around here.
Yeah.
You guys get to see maybe 2% of what goes on. But today we had the 4 horses in: Gracie, Luke, Lena, Roni, and everybody was trying to get to Lena. And Luke was particularly protective. And so I said, at that time, I said, you know, I think I'm going to step in and I'm going to go take over Lena from all other 3. So Roni couldn't get her, Luke was definitely not getting her, and Gracie was staying away. And it was a little bit of effort at first. I had to make a bit of an effort.
Well, you were curious how Luke would respond to you, if he would freak out at you.
If he would try to push me away.
Try and push you away.
He tried to weasel his way back in a little bit. Tried to sneak in from behind Lena, because Lena's so darn big. Half the time he hides behind her. But the way I was able to, I just cut him off, send him off. And at the same time, I had to concentrate on the other 2 as well. And I had to keep Lena with me, which I tried to do with touch in a particular spot. So I'm pretty sure I was touching just ahead of her shoulder, not quite her chest. Do you recall? If I think about it now, I feel like I would have been touching her shoulder, just ahead of her shoulder to stop any forward movement. And then my left hand, because her back, she was to my back. And so I was trying to keep her with me while I was fending off the other horses. And it was effective. I was able to keep her mostly with me, send all the other horses off. I even sent them off to the far corner while we were at the top corner. They went all the way down to the bottom corner. They went all the way to the back. Got them all the way to the back corner. Kept Lena with me, gave her some scratches, and then I left her and she booked it to the back to be with the herd again. So I was successful in sending all the other horses. So you want to be that. I think that you want to be that. And I didn't learn that from another human. That I learned from a horse. So there you go. Look, Patricia's here.
Yay, Patricia!
You finally made it. Why is Lena so coveted? Look at her. You talking about coveted? Sorry.
Like,
Coveted.
Like, what word are you using?
What's the matter with me?
'Cause
Coveted.
look at her.
Why?
Coveted.
Why?
Do you agree with my thing?
What? Did you say something? I didn't
Yes.
read.
First, she's in heat.
It is
And
in
that's
heat.
when
That's
her
true.
and
Yeah.
Luke.
Her and Luke hook up. Yeah.
Yes. Macaroni always wants her.
Macaroni's
Always and forever.
such a
He was
wimp.
so attached to her. Always has been. And I think
Yeah.
always will be.
Yeah.
And then she's the lead mare. So then Baby wants to be next to her. She is trying to look for a bit of sort of guidance.
I was going to give Maria's answer. Just look at Lena. What are you talking about? Who wouldn't want to hang around with her?
That's awesome.
She's awesome. I love her.
Everybody does.
Everybody loves Lena.
Yeah.
That's true.
But she's
Ours is
really
crazy
good to both males and females.
Hey, Debbie's up. Debbie just woke up. Good morning, Debbie.
We woke up Debbie in
Yeah.
Manchester.
Yeah.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah.
We're still on wine.
We're nighttime here. It's Canada Day. July 1st still. Yeah, so she's in heat, so the boys, I mean, Macaroni wants to be, like Jen said, Macaroni always wants to be around her.
Yeah.
Lena goes to Luke because I believe he's a better groomer. So when she wants scratches and stuff like that, Luke is really good at it because he also wants scratches.
Yeah.
So they co-groom really, really well. And again, I guess I wish I had the,
Yeah.
I did have the camera out.
You took video of that, didn't you?
I had some camera work
Like,
of
what? The girls groom each other.
the girls, but I had
Also, Lena and Luke.
I had the GoPro out because it's got slow motion speed on it to get Gracie to shake her head. She wouldn't. I couldn't get her to do it. She just kept squaring up to me and hanging out with me. It was such a pain. It was good, but anyways, I didn't get it. So I'm going to have to try again another time. Ida says, considered a head-mounted camera? Yep, I have. Up until the GoPro 7, which I don't own because they're expensive and I don't have the budget for another camera yet. Working on it. But the GoPro 7, and then there's another camera that's put out. It's brand new from DJI, which makes all the drones that I use. They put out an action camera. And the only reason I've never not used a head-mounted camera is because there's no image stabilization that is watchable. So
Really?
up until the GoPro 7 or the DJI Osmo Action, I think they've called it. So those two action cameras you can wear on your head or on your chest or something like that, and they will stabilize the footage enough that it's actually watchable.
Because you don't have a gimbal for the obviously.
I do have a gimbal for the GoPro, which is what you guys are always watching. All of my shots are motion stabilized with a gimbal.
Yes, but if you didn't have that,
without a gimbal, you guys would never watch my videos ever again because they would just be these nauseating, motion sickness inducing shaky cam videos unless I stuck it on a tripod, and tripod shots are boring. So I don't do a lot of that.
well, they're always moving. You would see a lot of just
Horses are always moving. I'm always moving. So all the shots are with a gimbal. So the GoPro does have, you could buy, and I do have, a gimbal for the GoPro, which is how I got all my Zeus shots, how I get all my slow motion moving shots at a high frame rate, right? So, but the gimbal is kind of big and uncomfortable, and you wouldn't, wouldn't really work well on a helmet. So I've been trying to figure out about buying either the GoPro 7 or the new DJI Osmo Action camera for that purpose. So it's a great suggestion, but it's expensive. I think they're $400 or something plus a memory card. So we'll see. We'll see. Did Riley ask a question? No. Somebody. You said never be sorry to ask a question, Riley. We always encourage that.
I know, she had said sorry. I think she was saying sorry because she had said something about the fact that I said I had 6 kids.
Oh, yeah.
And then she said she's an only child.
Oh,
I think
I see.
she was saying sorry about that. I was like, don't ever be sorry.
Yeah, no
Nothing to be
worries.
sorry about in this place, guys. Ever. Oh, did
Did you hear that? Oh, it's Zeus?
Yeah. Should we let him out?
No, he'll just bark and be a goofball. Just turn the lights on for him at least or something. Just turn the lights on inside. And the lights are on outside. He's probably like, oh, it's dark in here.
I don't think so.
Zeus is afraid of the dark. If you let him out, he's just going to bark when the fireworks go off. They're done. Did you talk to all the neighbors and find out that they're done? That's awesome. Luke is handsome too. Luke is handsome. Today, actually, he looked like the younger Luke that I've watched grow up, where he looks kind of girly. He looks very sort of a feminine sort of horse. Like he had a smaller looking face. His eyes were a little more sort of almond shaped. Sort of. Anyways, he's really adorable little horse today. So. Chicken head stabilization. The chicken head stabilization is very interesting. I learned about that a while ago from the Smarter Everyday channel. You might have already seen that with Destin. But I learned about how chickens keep their heads so steady. It's just silly. It's not actually just... Zeus, is that you, buddy? It's Zeus. You let him out. I head cam on Luke's head. Yeah, actually, that's one of the projects that I want to do as well. But again, requires a small camera with stabilization. So I'm on it. I've got some ideas. Yes, Ida, the gimbal makes a big, big difference. Patricia, no, we cannot see you. Don't worry about hair or makeup. It's all good. You guys can only see me, which you can mainly just see the fire. And I just look how I look, and I don't really care. So you're welcome for the answers, Ida. Yes, a camera on a... Maria is saying a camera on a chicken is more stable than any device out there. I believe it. I don't know if anybody's mounted a camera on a chicken. I imagine they have. You can get some pretty small cameras and then just attach some wires to it and then put that on the back of the chicken, I suppose. But I imagine it is super, super stable, but super jittery. Because when they turn their head very, very quickly. So... but if they were to run along, I bet it would be very, very steady footage. I can't remember what... There's a scientific reason of why chickens do that. Can't remember the scientific reason of why chickens are so good at keeping their head stable.
It must be the same thing as a gaited horse or something, right?
I don't know.
Right, it's just their body movement. No?
No. Chickens have a thing in their ears or something like that, or some part of their brain that is really good at processing movement, and they just keep their head solid. Their whole body can move around, but their head will stay in one spot.
Huh.
It's fascinating. Super
People
fascinating.
have seen cameras on chickens.
People see cameras. There have
That's
been
what Carla said.
Carla says that? I believe Carla. A GoPro on a chicken's head? I don't know about it on the chicken's head, is it?
That's what she said. I believe it.
No, you couldn't put a GoPro on a chicken's head. Their head is way too small. It's probably on their body.
He's calling you a liar, Carla.
Is it on YouTube, Carla? I gotta find that.
You're not telling the truth, man.
I don't think she's telling the truth. I just can't imagine a whole GoPro on top of a chicken's head. It'd be a pretty big chicken. Zeus, calm down, man. Just lie down or something.
He's really panting, so just let him out. Freaking out a bit in there for some reason.
Zeus. What? They mounted it on its body. See? There you go. I was right. Zeus. Stop panting, man. It's not that hot out here.
No, he's panting inside. He's stressed out.
Poor Zeus.
It's some sort of anxiety attack.
Anyway, so the conversation about punishment and discipline was a really good one. I'm glad I started it. I still have to continue on with my fear conversation. I've got that on the list of things to do as well. Of course, it's coming up soon.
Well, and don't you think it all sort of ties in together? When I think of it, because I think sometimes people think of firm as punishment, and people are afraid to be firm because they feel it's not friendly. And it
Yeah, a lot of
actually becomes dangerous to not be firm, because you can be firm without
punishing.
anger.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be hurting and punishing. You're just being firm to say, I need to be safe. And there seems to be that real cloudiness in that area.
There's a lot of conversation that happens about how far does discipline go before it becomes abuse, which is what that little conversation about how Buck was saying that people see that maybe he's too rough with a particular horse. But you don't see any shortage of that type of discipline in the horse world. If a horse isn't doing what it's supposed to be doing, another horse will let him know in no uncertain terms. And there's nothing really that us as humans can equalize that. Come close to even being like, we can't kick or punch a horse even close to hard enough that another horse can, or bite, even take skin off. We can't take skin off of a horse without an aid, without some kind of weapon, chains or whips, proper real whips, ones that snap, all kinds of things like that. But overall, we can't. We can whack them with a rope here and there and get something done. But there's a lot of conversation about, is because there's positive reinforcement, clinicians coming out more and more about using clicker training and that kind of thing. And there's a place for that kind of stuff for sure. It's hard to make a direct comparison here, but I do see a lot of people not using enough discipline, and in turn they get themselves in bad situations and sometimes quite injured and hurt because the horse hasn't been told that, what they're doing or asking for is not an option and never will be. Because there's been either fear or concern about, to ask too much or too hard would be too mean. And it's usually the root of, I'd say, the majority of the cases that I've heard about or seen. The root of it all just comes through with just a lack of consistent reinforcement of boundaries.
Yeah, that's the word I was going to say. Boundaries.
Yeah, consistent reinforcement of boundaries.
To have a line.
And if that's what discipline is, then that's what discipline is.
Yeah.
But it really is just consistently saying no to certain things, yes to other things, and not deviating for a while. And then you guys see me with Luke, and it just turns into it's a gong show.
But that's what we say. I say that about child rearing.
Or Lena.
When they're young, you be very rule oriented. You set the rules, you set the boundaries. They learn how to behave in every situation, and then you can become laxer with the rules, because when you need to become firm, they will listen. They know what's expected of them. But if you don't have consistency when they're young, they'll never be able to do those things. Table manners or politeness or whatever it is you want to say. You have strong bedtime routines, blah, 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 all that stuff when they're little, so that then you can say, oh, tonight you're going to stay up late. And it's not expected. It's not everything else. They don't trample all over you. They know it's a treat, and it's fine, just like horses. If you give an inch, you don't want them to take a mile and pummel you and run over you. It's even more dangerous.
More dangerous than kids.
Yeah, shockingly. Yeah. Your kids don't typically run over you with a car if you say no to bedtime being late.
Yeah. Horses are dangerous.
Yeah.
But you can essentially set things up to be safer.
Yes.
Stack the deck in your favor.
I think there's a misnomer that that kind and loving and patient cannot coincide with or coexist with firm and strong. And even as a parent as children, I have, as you know, I'm very rule oriented. I mean, I run a daycare, so I believe you can be firm, strong, have lots of rules, and still be loving and kind and soft. Those things can exist together
Yep.
and have to for your safety with a horse. They don't have to with your kids, but you're not going to love the results. But they are absolutely necessary when it comes to a horse. You have to know when to say, that's my line, and you're not allowed to cross it at any cost.
Yeah, which is why Gracie doesn't run me over.
Yeah, exactly. None of your horses do. I mean, that's the thing. You're not afraid to be firm, but a lot of people, unfortunately, think you can. But I think you're the perfect example of you talk to them, you're loving, you're kind, you're funny. You say, someone said it in the earlier feed, and I said it's so natural for you. When the camera's not on, you're just as hilarious with the horses. Okay, this thing's not going to get... You talk naturally to them. All that stuff.
I'm a dork off camera, too.
It's just you, that you care that much. But when they do something that's dangerous, it is like that instant, no, back up, get off of me. And then just as quickly, you come back down and you say, okay, now you can come close again. And it's not, we're not going to hover in, we have to be close. And we're not going to hover in, I'm going to be angry. We're just going to hover in a place where you have to respect these boundaries, and we can have lots of fun in here and be safe together.
Ida likes your explanation. She says it's perfect.
Wow. Thank you. He didn't react to that firework.
Zeus is not reacting to fireworks. He's just
so stressed
just quietly
outside alone. Yeah.
hanging out next to us.
That didn't work for him. He says, no thanks.
Doesn't want to be inside.
No, not alone.
It's 10:45.
Yes. Sue, I know. I can't stand that kids do that. Neither of our girls have ever done that. They don't run around. Nope. Actually, the oldest too, we used to get compliments. And people would come up to me because she's little, and they would say, your daughter's so well behaved in restaurants. All the time when she was little. 2, 3, 4 years old. Of course, because you set an expectation of behavior. And your children will meet that. And a horse will meet that. And it's okay to accept that expectation without allowing anything and everything. And it's easier to say with kids than a 1,000-pound animal, but...
Well, there you go, everybody. You now have child advice and horse advice. All in one go. It's a no-lose situation around here. It's true.
We always say that.
It's
what applies to horses applies to kids. What applies to kids applies to horses.
Yeah. Kids and horses are... Yeah, the more you learn about horses, the more you learn about people.
Yeah. And I mean,
or can learn.
Animals. I mean, we say about Zeus in general as well.
Dog trainers say that a lot. Yeah. They say the more they work with dogs, the more they understand people.
Yeah.
Or kids. Yeah. We know a lot of dog trainers. It seems that dog trainers and horses also go hand in hand quite a bit. So a lot of the people, a lot of people we know that train dogs as well or something, and comment on that quite a bit.
You gotta be safe, and it's gotta be...
To be safe.
Yeah.
Too many people I meet weekly.
Yeah.
New people I'll meet. Just call me up or send an email, or I'll go in person, and I've got to listen to some story. It's inevitable. I think almost just about everybody I've talked to has a story. I do too. But it's mostly the reason they're calling.
Yeah.
They've got a story to tell, and they need to figure out how to not get hurt again. Yeah, because it's scary.
Calling you.
That's what I do. So I get an idea of how not to have that happen again. Hopefully it works.
Because firm isn't punishment. I think I want to make that a t-shirt or something. Because firm is just boundaries. So that's a good thing to have. It's a safe thing to have.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's only for Patreon video. The bubble one?
Yeah, I did a video. Some of you have seen it.
He'll do more.
Red circle and rectangle concept I've talked about it.
Yeah, your safety bubble.
Safety bubble video I did. It's a good one. It's important. Keep yourself safe.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting late. I am
You getting tired?
getting tired
Yeah.
a little bit. It's Canada Day, but it's still just Monday.
I gotta be up at 6 tomorrow. You don't,
I have
but
to be
I
up
do.
I have to be up at 5:45.
What? No, you lie, Pinocchio. Now we know who the
I
liar
have to be
is.
up before 6.
Oh, Carla didn't need my soda. Ida.
Oh, you guys. I just noticed that too.
I didn't
Thank you,
see
Carla
that
and
at
Ida.
all.
You guys are so amazing. A couple of Timmies.
Like, yeah.
We will. We will enjoy Timmies.
What is that? Don't worry, our Tim Hortons is only 5 blocks away. We go all the time.
You should do a TED Talk about managing children, says Maria. That's a good idea. TED Talks are really cool. I wish I could get in on a TED Talk one day. But yeah, thank you guys. We appreciate it a lot. Yes, every time somebody's just kind enough to give a little bit, we give as much as we can here. Time-wise, horse-wise, we're lucky. We're really, really lucky to have this situation. And we're doing our best to take advantage of it for you guys, essentially. I mean, otherwise we wouldn't be here. But today is just a nice Canada Day. A little fire going on. Everybody's joined in and hung out with us.
Yeah, it's
like having the
whole thing.
having the
I
whole
can't even
internet
describe
here.
how much I like it.
Oh yeah.
Actually. Well, I'm a very social person.
Jen's addicted to the internet, she says.
I'm not addicted. I said you don't give me a mic because you'll never get me to shut up after that. Because Maria said that you can hear me so. She's like, a mic would be better. And I was like, I don't think he wants to unleash that beast. I'm like,
Well, the problem with the good mic is average sound.
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure out a way to get to, or at least I could probably do that.
you have way more to say. Sometimes I get talking, but it's better this way.
Jen says it's better. She doesn't have the mic. Okay.
I talk a lot.
You do talk a lot.
But I think it's incredible that I get to talk to people in all different places.
We got a lot of countries here.
It is
Actually,
so
it's
cool.
true. We have a lot of countries, a lot of people in different countries, which is really neat, really cool. Yeah, it's exciting.
And
So-
like-minded.
Like-minded, yeah,
Yeah,
that's really
I enjoy
nice.
that.
The reach across the world is very interesting because we get to hear stories around the world. It's not just here locally or here in Canada. Get to hear about things that happen around the world, literally, where things, how horses are treated, how horses are cared for, what they're fed, some training concepts, tack, all kinds of things, and get to learn so much more. It's really cool. It's a lot more diverse. Diversity is what we need.
I like it.
So, for the first time ever, I think I'm going to want to be the one who calls it because I'm getting tired.
It's me.
I've had a long day today, busy, but it's been nice to finish off on a nice fireside. Just really, really nice. Because you guys can't see us anyways. So,
Lisa has a quick question. I don't know if you want to answer.
Lisa has a question, you say?
Yes. What would you do about a gelding that was getting along with two other geldings but is now pushing them around to the point of breaking through fences?
Well, Lisa's got her gelding problem still, right? Was getting along with the geldings before, now pushing them around so much it's possibly going to break a fence or two. Well, Lisa, the first thing I would question is the environment that they're in. That is, one, either not big enough. Two, food is not placed in enough of a wide area. So I don't know. These are the things I think about first. One, area is not big enough. There's not enough space for all of them. And the one that wants more space is sending the others off. Now, one of the reasons that horses send other horses off, geldings, mares, or not, doesn't matter, is because they don't want to share their food. They want to be the sole owner of all food in that location. So they will send other horses away. So if there's any competition for food, you want to take away the competition. If you have 3 horses in a location, you want to provide 4 feeding spots, 3 minimum. At the worst case scenario, what will happen is that the lead horse will continue to push the other horse, the next horse off, and then that horse will push the other horse off or go over to the spot that the lead horse just left. So you have to have a minimum of 3 feeding spots.
She says moved into large area, plenty of food.
Plenty of food. Okay, what's the next thing I think of? I would probably want to be able to see, I suppose, because if they've got food and water's not, what's that?
And space, but okay, so
Well,
plenty of
lots of food, lots of space.
But is the food separated enough, like you're saying?
Is the food
separated
separated enough
Yeah.
that they don't have to be near each other when eating?
Or is there lots of food, but it's clustered together? Because that still creates an issue.
Sometimes another thing that might happen that I've seen and heard of is that a stronger horse will try to remove a weaker horse from the herd. So sometimes when a horse is sick or infirm or old, a stronger horse might try to get rid of that horse, like remove it from the situation. So I would wonder about the health of the horse. That is, is one horse chasing off 2 horses, or just one of them? Are 2 horses teaming up against a horse, or is it just one that's teaming up, or not teaming up, but going after the other 2?
One that wants to be in charge, and they are in a small field. How are they being fed?
Yeah, I think it's still, I mean, is it a field, just grass field? Well, I can hear the fireworks. If David's there, he must be having, I can hear the fireworks in Vancouver for sure.
That's from Vancouver?
Yeah.
David, are you still there? One chasing 2 of them.
Do the other 2 herd up?
Grass field.
Grass
So
field. Toodaloo, Zeus. Good luck with that, buddy. Look on the
David
lights
says
didn't
yes,
turn
he
on.
can hear them now. Just started about 5 minutes ago.
Zeus. Come here. Come here. Hey. Come here. Zeus, come. Good boy. Hey, come here. Come on. Good. Come here. Over here.
Listen, come.
Zeus.
Zeus, listen. Hey.
Come on, Zeus. I don't think he's just wired. Come here. Why doesn't he respond to the finger snap anymore? Come here. Just travel under the chair if you need to. Relax, man, relax. We all hear the fireworks. Yeah, I'd be... It's a hard one, eh? What are you going to do when one horse just wants to chase around the other ones all the time? I mean, if it's a big enough space, the other 2 should be able to get away. Horses don't generally want to waste their energy. If I were to do anything, I think I might put obstacles in the middle and stuff. Sometimes just placing some barrels or what else could you do? Something that sort of allows another horse to be not in the direct line of sight of another horse can help. So, hard to make a suggestion. It's usually food related. You know, one horse wants to have it all.
Don't.
Just relax, Zeus. It's Canada Day. They're supposed to be
She
laying
says
up.
they used to get along well. It's the new behavior, although he's always been top horse.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about too much that they've changed their ways a little bit. They may change them back. You might have to be patient. It's not abnormal for hierarchical changes to happen or for the hierarchy to become stronger or be more stressed. So maybe a little bit of patience, but you can assist with things. You can make sure that there's more than one water place. Put some obstacles in the way that block line of sight. Put some trees in or something like that.
Carla actually asked a good question. She says, do they do it when they don't know she's around or only when they see her? Because maybe he's trying to get her attention. Like he's the one that wants.
I don't know if horses try to take ownership over humans.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure if I've seen that. I don't know if I've seen a different horse behavior based on if somebody is around, but I have heard of that. So I'm not going to say it doesn't happen. Good question. Yeah, if you're out there, does your horse act different than if you were to hide and watch? I would imagine no.
Something else is going
My
on
guess
there.
is no. I'm going to say mostly it's survival instinct says, get out of here. Something in that horse says, take off.
How do you work past that though? That's really hard, right?
Like I said, you just provide the other horses a way to not be in the line of sight of that horse. It's sometimes geldings can get along really well, and then other times, they'll want to send off like a stallion would not have any other geldings around.
Yeah.
Just doesn't.
Well, it brings
Everybody
back
else
the
take off.
conversation we had earlier.
Or
about-
stallion wouldn't want any other stallions around,
No,
not
yeah.
geldings, or even geldings
Yeah.
probably.
But we should say lions, for instance.
Yeah,
it's
lions only
natural
want
in the
one
lion
lion.
world. If you scare off another lion, he's not allowed to just hang out with the herd anymore. He is actually sent out to be on his own, gone.
Yeah.
Even if it was originally your herd, you are now alone.
Yeah.
That's just natural.
Yeah, so it might be Mother Nature kicking in a little bit.
There's just something inside the horse that says, this is how it's supposed to be. I
Yeah.
don't need competition around
No,
here.
no boys around, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe see how it goes over the next month. But there's some thought process of breaking the line of sight. Is another psychological trick that you can use.
Yeah, she agrees. She says there's 3 girls at the barn and the behavior has nothing to do with the people.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I've not seen it myself, but I've heard of other people. It's all anecdotal. I've not seen anything proven that horses try to take ownership or segregate off a human from other horses.
She says he's in timeout in his own
Is it timeout?
area for now.
It's good. Yeah, separate them out if you need
Yeah.
to. That's a good idea. If you needed to keep them together, that was my thought process. If you can separate them out, just separate them out for now. You'll want to have a friend again. Horses don't like being alone.
How do you try that then? Just keep trying to integrate him back in, or? for
I
short
would.
periods, or
I would
give him
actually.
one person?
I would consider. Yeah, maybe taking out one of the other horses and see if it changes. If it doesn't, then change out that horse and see if it changes. If it does, then it's a dynamic. But having them in timeout is probably just fine. I'd probably do that too. Like, you're an idiot. Take off. You're stressing my good horses out.
She says, thanks, guys. Sorry if I kept you up.
No, it's all good. I mean, we're always troubleshooting something. Mostly with our own horses, I suppose. Health or mental.
It was like another good questions.
Physical.
They're interesting.
It's a good question.
Yeah, I like it. All right, good night. Thank you, everybody. Happy Canada Day.
Yeah, for
Back to
everybody's
work
in Canada.
tomorrow. Woo! Yeah.
Cares?
Well, lots of people in the States are celebrating. They'll be celebrating in a
Yeah,
couple days.
Independence Day's
3
coming
more
up for you
days.
Americans.
You guys are going to be yoo-hooing up. Woo!
Okay, that's it, guys.
Good
Thank you
night.
very much. Have a good night, morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. And we'll see you guys again tomorrow.